What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for May 30th, 2025. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Feel Good Friday edition of the podcast. As we always do, we got a big show today. Lots of dingers. We also spend Fridays with AIs like we always do. And truthfully, it's hard to believe tomorrow is the last day of May. It seemed like last week everybody's putting the memes up of Justin Timberlake talking about it's going to be May. Well, guess what? It's going to be June. And with that, school's out. It means you're going to be planning your trip to the shore. Worst part about the shore, other than the traffic, is move in and move out. I hate it. You get all sweaty. Everybody starts arguing. Everybody's been cooped up in traffic, and now you're fighting about unloading the car. Tension abounds. Got you covered this summer. Beach Caddy. They will move your stuff from your car to your house, and then at the end of the week, they'll move it out and put it in your car. They're good. You can just pack a cooler, sit down, grab a beer, and just relax and ease into your vacation. No more of the stress, no more of the fighting, no more of that. Their bellhop service is second to none. Literally takes the stress out of move in and move out of the shore. And of course, if you have kids, one of the biggest things to take up space in your car is your beach cart. And you usually, to save room, you get the little mini one that folds up with the small wheels. It always gets stuck in the sand. Another stressful thing is moving to the beach. Beach Caddy's got you covered with that. They got the nice big size wagons with the big balloon wheels that go through the sand like it's meant to be. So Beach Caddy's got you covered down at the shore this summer. Go to beachcaddy.app. Use the promo code Jimbo to take 10% off bellhop, which is their move in and move out service, and cart rental. If you are in Ocean City, Sea Isle, Avalon, Stone Harbor, or Wildwood, get your beach trip started off right. Let Beach Caddy do the hard work for you. You don't have to worry about it. No more fighting, no more stress, no more drama, no more being dripped in sweat. They'll take care of it. Sit down, grab your beach chair, have a beer, and enjoy the shore. That's beachcaddy.app, and use the promo code Jimbo for 10% off your move-in, move-out service, their bellhop service, and wagon beach cart rental. They got you covered. Trust me, I've known these guys since the very beginning. They've been featured on Channel 6. Great organization, and really takes the stress out of just the entire, anything that you can imagine that's stressful on a beach trip. They got you covered. If you're in Ocean City, Sea Isle, Avalon, Stone Harbor, or Wildwood, check out Beach Caddy and use that promo code Jimbo. All right, Phils. They won the series. They made the first game interesting. They won 5-4. Kyle Schwarber hit a bomb. They had a lot of opportunities that they just could not take advantage of. The ball was not carrying, really, for either team. Lots of long fly balls to the warning track in center. Sanchez struggled early, but seemed like he settled in. The bullpen always makes it interesting. Romano did his best Mitch Williams impersonation, loading the bases and getting out of the jam. But the story of this game was Rafael Marchand. I mean, hit the 2-run shot, got hit by a pitch to knock in the go-ahead RBI, and really saved the game from going to extra innings with like a rifle, a missile, to throw out a guy trying to steal second base. I don't know. I mean, there could be talking about maybe we talked about in our bold predictions beginning of the year. Maybe, just maybe, JT will not be back next year if Marchand can keep playing like this. Love to see him get more playing time, though, and see if he can do this consistently. But after a rough start, he's looking pretty good as the Phillies take the series and take game one of the doubleheader. And then last night, Zach Wheeler had an off game. They had 2 hits. I turned it off in like the 8th inning, 7th inning. They had 2 hits. I don't know whether they just packed it in, figured they won the series. Who cares about this game or what? It just was a brutal game, but they took 2 out of 3 from the Braves. That's the main thing. Winning the first game 5-4, losing the second game 9-3. Still the best record in the majors. I mean, I still personally don't think they've played their best baseball yet at all. and they're doing what they need to do. And truthfully, every series they've won 9 out of their last 10 series. And other than the Mets series, they've played well. Maybe the Cardinals series you can throw in there as kind of a bad series, but I shouldn't say played well, but played decent. But they have not, by any stretch of the imagination, played their best baseball yet. So that bodes well. The bullpen obviously is a huge question mark, but they welcome back Rhys Hoskins, who could be playing here maybe later this summer as they open up a 3-game weekend series against the Braves. Taiwan's on the mound tonight. He looks to continue to have his complete 180 turnaround from what he was last year. Bryce likely won't play tonight. Still hasn't swung a bat. His elbow is still sore and swollen, but they did say it's not nearly as bad as they thought. So Phillies Brewers this weekend after taking 2 out of 3 from the Braves this week, and still with the best record in baseball and not playing their best. I mean, yes, they're a flawed team, but it seems like everybody else in the National League also has flaws. So if they can somehow address the bullpen, heard an interesting nugget on the way, or an idea, I guess, on the way to my kid's baseball game last night. And everybody's talking about putting Ranger in the bullpen. But what about Christopher Sanchez? Seems to be right around that 90 pitch mark, whether they're consciously trying to do it or what. I can't take credit for that idea. It was on the WIP afternoon show, but it got me thinking. That's intriguing to put Christopher Sanchez in the bullpen, especially when Andrew Painter comes up. You still have Mick Abel out there. They have options. They have an overabundance of starting pitching, which typically you say is not an issue. But when you have a crappy bullpen right now, yikes. Maybe you make some moves for this season. But Phillies Brewers this weekend at the Citizens Bank Park. Quick update from yesterday. We did our Philly playlist summer song of the day, and it was Buffalo Soldier, and I said the Buffalo Soldiers fought in the Spanish-American War. That, in fact, was indeed true, but the Buffalo Soldiers actually got their start defending the frontier post-Civil War all the way up through World War I. So it wasn't just specifically the Spanish-American War. So my history instincts still are kicking in strong. All right. We talked about Beach Caddy. Like I said, cannot hype them up enough. And you know I don't put anybody on here as a sponsor or a partner that I don't believe in. They will get you what you need. Be sure to follow me on social media, Jimbo_Mott on Twitter and TikTok. On Instagram, @PhillyJimbo. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jimbo_Mott. Continue to spread the word as we grow this thing. Slow burn, man. It's starting to really take off. I'm very pleased with the direction and where everything is going. And, of course, if you want to see highlights, photos, pictures, newspaper clips of what we're talking about that day, all of my social media, I post it there, including my Facebook and LinkedIn. So hit me up on both of them as well. All right, let's recap yesterday's question of the day. Eagles are wrapping up OTAs, and I asked you, what is your biggest question mark heading into training camp? Pretty split. 50% or 58% of you said the defense. 42% said the defense. Specific areas that people mentioned: tight end, secondary, both cornerback and safety, and the offensive coordinator. I think all of that is fair. I think the offense, will be ahead of the defense as we try to figure out who's playing where and you replace some of the guys that left. I think the defense will be fine. Will they be the number 1 unit in the league this year? I don't know about that. But will they be a top 10, top 12 unit? They absolutely should be. They have the talent. I trust Vic Fangio to, in year 2, get these guys in position and put them where they want to be. Still notably absent was Bryce Huff. Apparently, I heard on the radio this morning that the reports from the NovaCare complex that I believe it was Jeff McClain was reporting that it was a mutually agreed upon decision to not have him at OTAs. I don't know if that's so he doesn't get hurt because they're looking to move him or if they're planning on cutting him. And if he gets hurt, I guess they can't. So We'll see how that plays out as the story breaks, but it does appear that Howie's biggest blunder from last season, most expensive blunder, will not be a part of this team moving forward. All right, Flyers, though, did make a move. Tyson Forrester agreed to a 2-year extension. He was a restricted free agent. I like this move. He's young. He was a good piece last year. I don't know if he's going to be a superstar, but certainly a piece you can trust and put on one of your lines. Only a $3.75 million cap hit for the 2 years. And again, I like this. I'm very excited to see what the Flyers do now with the draft and free agency as they try to figure out how they're going to move this thing forward and start being a competitive team. All right, speaking of the sponsors, I've been talking to you about Lotwin. They make the custom 3D hype chains that everybody's wearing. These things are great for your summer travel leagues, swim teams, bachelor parties. I'm getting stuff from CBS for fantasy football. Fantasy football is going to be starting. You can get a loser or a winner chain, or why not get both? But go to lotwin.com, use the promo code TCC POD to take 10% off your order. That's lotwin.com, TCC POD to take 10% off of your custom hype chains. Gotta get these things, man. These things are amazing. Check them out. The artwork and the intricate details that they're able to put into these are amazing. So go to lotwin.com, get your custom hype chain, and use the promo code TCC POD for 10% off of your order. All right, yesterday's trivia answer. I asked you, Chooch was a part of 4 no-hitters, 1 by Hamels, 2 by Holiday. And I asked who had the other no-hitter that Chooch caught. It was, in fact, a combined no-hitter in 2014 by Cole Hamels, Ken Giles, Jake Diekman, and Jonathan Papelbon. So Chooch tied with Jason Varitek for the most no-hitters caught in Major League Baseball history. 2 by Roy Halladay, 1 by Cole Hamels, and then a combined between Hamels, Ken Giles, Jake Diekman, and Jonathan Papelbon.
It's time for Fridays with AI, where we ask AI to rewrite Philly sports history. Every Friday, only on This Day in Philly Sports History.
That's right. It's time for Fridays with AI. Every Friday, we ask AI to rewrite Philly sports history, and this one was an interesting one. We've been talking a lot this week about the 2007 to 2011 Phillies. Obviously, it was Holiday's perfect game the other day. We talked a little bit about Ryan Howard, and got me thinking. Ryan Howard, very interesting career trajectory. Was tearing up minor league pitching, but was stuck behind Jim Thome, who Jim Thome came to the Phillies to help open Citizens Bank Park. And then we know once Ryan got a chance, he excelled, took the job, and never looked back. Tore his Achilles in the 2011 playoff game against the Cardinals in Game 5, and really was never the same after that. But that season, he still put up solid numbers in 2011, even though the offense struggled somewhat for the Phils. He had 33 homers, 116 RBIs, solid numbers for a 31-year-old. But again, that devastating injury, he just never seemed to recover. And then you couple that with the contract extension that kicked in that next year from Ruben Amaro. And Ryan kind of got a raw end of his time here in Philly. He was certainly on a Hall of Fame trajectory, outside chance before the injury. So we asked AI, what would have happened if Ryan Howard did not tear his Achilles? What if it was just a weak ground out, Phillies lose that series, and then come back with everybody healthy, ready to go in 2012? Well, look at this from 2 different perspectives, the Ryan Howard perspective and then the Phillies team perspective. From Ryan Howard, comes back and just goes back to being who he was prior to the injury, or if the injury didn't occur. Eventually, though, he starts to decline like most Major League players do as they progress in their 30s. But for the most part, he stays relatively healthy Averages between 25 and 35 homers the rest of his career, 90 to 110 RBIs, pretty comparable numbers. I mean, you take those 4-year, 5-year outlier numbers, his first couple of years, which were like he was averaging 49, but obviously Mother Nature and Father Time are undefeated. Eventually does start to decline, but without the injury, it is a real possibility that he sniffs 500 home runs, gets to about 1,500 RBIs, which would put him in the top 50 all-time in Major League Baseball, which essentially makes him a borderline Hall of Famer. And I don't think anybody would argue now that Ryan Howard's a Hall of Famer. Had the potential before the injury, had the potential if he'd have come up a couple years earlier. But in this scenario, without the Achilles injury, he does become a borderline, probably in the same boat as J-Roll, Chase, and even Bobby Abreu, the Hall of very, very good, just not quite getting to the Hall of Fame. But 500 home runs, I don't think there are any 500 home run hitters other than the steroid guys who are not in the Hall of Fame. So maybe he gets in, certainly not first ballot, but he sniffs the Hall of Fame, sniffs 500 home runs. Likely does get sign another contract after that extension from Ruben Amaro expires. Does retire after the 2016 season. AI was kind of torn between that. They're like, a lot of this is going to be dependent upon where the Phillies are as a team. They did say there was an outside possibility he gets traded to an American League team to be a designated hitter because the DH was not around in the National League until 2022. But what about the Phillies? How does Ryan Howard not getting injured impact the team's success? Well, they still got old fast, and that was the thing about it. Like, they went from having the best record in baseball, 102 wins in 2011, to completely just falling off the face of the earth and everybody getting hurt. They certainly still get older, but what it does, it allows them to keep that core group together. The Rollins, Utley, Howard, Cole Hamels, Chooch, those guys stay and don't get traded the way they did in our reality. And the Phillies continue to try to build around them, replenish the farm system. Ruben still gets fired because the expectations and the depletion of the bullpen. So they bring in guys to really are focused on rebuilding the farm system. Never really get back to that top level of where they were. Certainly a wild card contender each year. But every year that they're contending for the wild card and not trading some of those pieces for some prospects, it delays the inevitable, and the Phillies ultimately end up going through that rebuild period that they had. So Ryan Howard, if he doesn't get hurt, does sniff the Hall of Fame, sniff 500 home runs. Phillies never win another World Series, but do make a playoff run here or there, going in as a wild card, but ultimately delays the team's rebuild. Now, I went down a rabbit hole with this one because Ryan Howard, to me, is one of the most intriguing athletes in Philly sports history. And to me, the bigger what if would be, what if he came up a few years earlier? What if Jim Thome wasn't blocking his way at first base? And in this scenario, we'll do it on the front end instead of the back end. Comes up in 2003, becomes, they say, you know what, dude, just be you. You're our everyday first baseman. It obviously increases his that prime couple years he has. In this scenario, he gets to 540 home runs, over 1,700 RBIs. The team becomes competitive sooner. They still have that same core. They might win another championship during that run. AI was like, they're going to be one of those teams, and it all depends on how things break the right way. But Ryan Howard certainly becomes a Hall of Famer in this scenario that he comes up earlier. So today we asked AI, what about Ryan Howard? What if he didn't get hurt? Has a very solid rest of his career. Not that he had a bad kind of rest of his career after the Achilles, but you could tell he was just never the same player he was. And then AI said if he came up sooner, surefire Hall of Famer. But that was today's Fridays with AI. But it does lead to the question of the day. To me, Ryan Howard is the most underappreciated athlete in Philly sports history, and I don't think it's particularly close. I think we appreciate him now, but when he was playing, I remember arguing with, God rest his soul, one of my good friends, and he would always say, "Oh, there's Ryan Howard. He's going to strike out," and just how he wasn't clutch, how he wasn't this. And I'm like, are you watching the same player I am? And to me, I don't think we appreciated him for what he was, because he was more of a precursor to what we see today with the high strikeouts, like the high risk, high reward type player. Yeah, he struck out a lot, but man, was he clutch. So I think we very greatly underappreciate Ryan Howard. But today's question of the day: who is the most underappreciated athlete in Philly sports history? You could go almost anywhere with this. Anxious to have a good discussion about this on a Friday. To me, it's Ryan Howard, and I don't think it's particularly close. 267-495-8531. That's a Back to the Future voice and text line. Get that. Anything else Philly sports related off your chest? Want to rant about the Phils? Plenty to rant about. Go ahead. Be sure to check out my boys over at the Clashing Conferences podcast. Great things happening with their sports fan network. Go to clashingconferences.com to see how you can join, become a member, get your voice heard, what they have to offer. And if you're in need of media service, Steven's got you covered there as well. clashingconferences.com to see how you can get involved, become a member, and be sure to check out their podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts as well as on YouTube. New episodes drop on Thursday and Friday. And then, of course, Philly Goat. Father's Day is coming. Don't forget about Dad. They have the Father's Day Dad Collection. They have so many great partnerships. They've partnered with Nick Foles. I forget exactly what it is. It's something Dad. I will look that up. Dad Season, I think it is. Great. Support Nick Foles and his foundation. Get some good merch. Those Phillies Fanatic rock glasses, though, I still like them. Get some slides. Philly Goat's got you covered for Father's Day. Don't forget about Dad. Go to Philly Goat. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery to save 10% off your order. That's phillygoat.com. Promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off of your order. All right, I told you. Fridays are just... I love Friday shows. They're a big day. We have a lot of fun. But May 30th is a good day for the long ball in Philly sports history. Before we get into the long ball, though, let's first go back to 1935. And on this day in 1935, the Phillies beat the Boston Braves in both games of a doubleheader. Game 1, though, was significant because Babe Ruth was playing for the Braves, kind of finishing out his career, grounded out in the first inning, left the game after that, called it a career, and that was his last official Major League at-bat against the Phillies on this day in 1935. All right, to the long ball. Let's go to 1993. Phillies beat the Rockies 18-1 at Mile High State, or it wasn't Mile High Stadium. I forget what it was. At that, Mile High was the Broncos Stadium. I don't think that's where they were playing. But 18-1, Phillies won. 19 hits, including 6 home runs, 2 by Darren Dalton, Mariano Duncan, Kim Batiste, Dave Hollins, and Tommy Green all went deep up in the thin mountain air as the Phillies beat the Rockies 18-1. Phillies tied a team record for home runs in a game with 6. If you're keeping score at home, like I know a lot of you do, the current record is 7 home runs in a game hit in 1998. Against the Mets, and then 2018 against the Reds. All right, fast forward to 2009. Phillies beat the Nationals 9-6, and our man, the big piece, Ryan Howard, hit 2 home runs, had 5 RBI, including a grand slam to the third deck at Citizens Bank Park, his 3rd grand slam of the season, his 8th career grand slam, breaking Mike Schmidt's team record of 7 in the process. Just a great day for the big piece as the Phillies beat the Nationals 9-6. Ryan Howard with his 3rd grand slam of the season, his 8th grand slam of his career, setting the Phillies team record. And again, if you're keeping score at home, Ryan Howard retired with 15 grand slams. So busy day for the home run ball in Philly sports history. 93. Phillies beat the Rockies 18-1, tying a team record at the time with 6 homers in a game. And then in 2009, Ryan Howard with his 8th career grand slam, setting the Phillies team record. He retired with 15. And that takes us to today's trivia question. Ryan Howard, that's a lot of grand slams, 15. Mike Schmidt had 7. I believe Nick Castellanos has 7 career grand slams. I don't think they're all with the Phillies, though. But Ryan Howard's 15 is not the most in Major League Baseball history. That's today's question. Who has the most grand slams in Major League Baseball history? Hit me up on the Discord channel. The invitation is in the description. Come over. Let's have some good Philly sports talk chat today and every day on the Discord channel. But who is the Major League Baseball career leader in grand slams? And then finally today, we're wrapping this up. I'll post the link to the Spotify and the Apple Music playlists once they're complete. But our Philly Sports Summertime Playlist Song of the Day, going to finish out this month with a good, strong Philly vibe, and that is Going the Distance by Bill Conti. Obviously, it's the iconic song from the fight scene in Rocky 1. When Rocky just gets battered and keeps coming up, and then all of a sudden catches his 8th win and holds his own against Apollo Creed. It's a very big part of the Eagles game day presentation when they call everybody out or get everybody pumped up for the game. It's just I don't know. It's like, what do you want? With Adrian, and she said, "There's one thing I want you to do for me." What's that? Win. Well, what are we waiting for? And then they start like showing clips of the Eagles. It's just a very, very fun time, and one of those ultimate Philly sports songs. You hear it at all the games. So that is today's Summertime Playlist Song of the Day, Going the Distance by Bill Conti. And a bonus song could be a little controversial, but we're sticking with the fact that this is a good song that samples Going the Distance, and that's Victory by Puff Daddy, Biggie Smalls, and Busta Rhymes. I know. Strictly based on the song, and honestly, Puff is the worst part of this song. So, but that is our Victory song. It's still a good song. Very much a Philly kind of tie-in there, but Victory by Biggie, Busta, featuring Puff Daddy is today's bonus song to go along with Going the Distance by Bill Conti, which is today's song. Be sure to let me know your answer to the trivia question. Who is the career leader in grand slams in Major League Baseball history? All in honor of Ryan Howard, who hit his 8th career grand slam on this day in 2009. Third deck moonshot by Ryan Howard. Second time, by the way, he hit a ball up into the third deck at Citizens Bank Park. And, I mean, it's just a Ryan Howard appreciation day. We spent Fridays with AI talking about Ryan Howard. We need to appreciate Ryan Howard more than what we do. That's all I'm saying. Also in 1993, Phillies beat the Rockies 18-1, tying a team record with 6 home runs. Darren Dalton hitting 2 of them. Let me know your thoughts on the most underrated or underappreciated, and I'm purposely saying underappreciated, not underrated, underappreciated Philadelphia athlete. I still don't think it's Ryan Howard, and I couldn't think of anybody who was even close to being on that level. We have a ton of athletes we underappreciate. Zach Wheeler comes to mind as a possibility, Aaron Nola, but nobody touches the level of Ryan Howard. But let me know your thoughts on that. We'll have more on the Phillies Brewers tonight. Anything breaks on the Bryce Huff story, we'll have that, as well as any moves the Flyers might be making. It looks like it's Danny Briere season for the Fly Guys. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for May 30th, 2025. My name's Jim Montgomery. We had a big show today, but that's what we do here on Fridays. Go enjoy your Feel Good Friday, and until next time, I'll see you when I see you.